When it was first clear that Esme Prince had no memory of who she was and all the terrible things she did last year on General Hospital, it seemed like the perfect vehicle to redeem the character, if the story was done right. As Soap Hub pointed out months ago, Esme, Avery Kristen Pohl, was a redeemable character, but amnesia wasn't the only thing needed to make her palatable. Her crimes were too serious to just be brushed aside as she drugged one girl, made a sex video of the other and blasted it onto the internet, and then framed the drugged girl for the crime, among other things. In fact, GH may not have even known it went too far with Esme when the writers had her do those horrific things, and that is probably why she has been walking around with amnesia for the last 6 months. The powers that be realized their mistake after the fact and rushed to fix it, but amnesia doesn't fix everything. Esme has not only not paid for her crimes, she has seemingly been rewarded for them. She has a baby, a job she didn't earn, and a free luxury place to live. She seems to show zero remorse for what her former self did, and all she can do is shrug these crimes off, saying she isn't that person anymore. And while Esme might not be drugging people, setting fires to cars, locking pregnant women in storage closets, and sleeping with her boyfriend's father, she is still the same spoiled girl she always was, just with no memories. Well, it's time for that to end. Unless you are Jason Morgan, Steve Burton, have a permanent brain injury, and forge another identity, amnesia is supposed to be a temporary soap trope. It's used to move the story forward and show a character in a new light, but Esme is still in the old light. She may adore her baby and want to be a good mother, but that manipulative streak and entitled attitude are still there. While many have believed Esme has been faking her amnesia all along, we do not believe that is the case. What we do believe is this needs to end. Since Esme hasn't paid in any way whatsoever for what she's done, amnesia as part of her redemption arc isn't working. It's time to either bring the old Esme back in full force, so we can stop pretending lost memories redeem her, or have her actually feel remorse when she remembers in full what she has done. Until then, the character is stalled, and Avery Kristen Pohl's talents are wasted. Let Esme have a reckoning and come to terms with her genealogy and actions. Then she needs to face some actual consequences as the real Esme, and not this nonchalant character who goes about life thinking her crimes were erased with her memories. They weren't. Although Esme doesn't remember, as of now, the audience does. That will continue to be a problem unless this character's amnesia ends and her reckoning begins. Robert's car has broken down on the side of the road as he and Diane were on their way to dinner. She gets a notice from roadside assistance that they can't get there for 2 hours. Robert thinks he can fix it himself quicker than that. Diane challenges him to do so, as she wants to see this. Robert gets to work while asking Diane why she continues to work for Sunny. Diane tells Robert that Sunny pays her extremely well, but she also finds the work challenging and exciting. She says not to get her wrong, she knows where the line is, and she won't cross it, because there is no hill that exists on which she would risk her legal career. Diane feels he thinks less of her, but he doesn't, as she knows her limits. Diane gets another text and complains that roadside assistance has been delayed another hour. Robert thinks he's fixed the car and asks her to place her finger on an area of the engine while he gives it a try. When he starts the car, oil blows all over her. She changes into a spare PCPD baseball jersey Robert had, and he tells her it looks good on her. She doubts that, and suddenly he pulls her into a kiss. At the gatehouse, Willow tells Michael she wants to talk to him about Sunny. He moans, "What has Sunny done now?" She says nothing. Willow admits she thinks they should invite Sunny to the wedding. She explains she wants Sunny there for Donna and Avery, who will love being flower girls. Michael points out that Sunny will want to bring Nina, but Willow hopes Mana knows she has no place at their wedding. She assures Michael that she'll handle Nina. She tells Michael he is the centerpiece of his family, and every time he doesn't include Sunny, he's laying the seeds for Donna and Avery to have to choose between him and their father. Michael agrees for his sister's sake that Sunny should be at the wedding. He says Donna and Avery are more important, and he'll invite Sunny. Willow says she's jealous of the bond he has with his siblings because she never had any. She says seeing those bonds makes her happy to know Wiley and Amelia will have one too. She tells him she knows there is this scary thing looming over them, but she doesn't want it to overshadow their wedding and their love. At the review committee meeting, the committee tells Chase that he is to be reinstated and Commissioner Ashford will be in touch. Chase and Brooklyn hug, and Dante appears and is glad to have his partner back. Chase says Brooklyn is to thank, and turns around only to find she's gone. Chase and Dante head to the coffee shop, and Chase can't believe Brooklyn left like that given she is who got him his job back. Dante tells him not to count himself short, he fought for this and didn't give up. Chase appreciates Dante for being there for him. Dante presents him with his badge and welcomes him back to the force. He says Jordan gave it to him this morning, as they all knew how the meeting would go. Dante tells him to clip it on so they can get back to work, and Chase does so. At the hospital, Sunny promises Nina that they'll bring Obrecht home. Nina says she's learned the haunted star is untraceable. Valentin appears and has an update for them. He tells them about Trina getting in contact with her mother from the boat, which she stowed away on. Nina thanks him for the update, and Sunny notes this is a good bit of news. Sunny excuses himself to make some phone calls. At the hospital, Sunny promises Nina that they'll bring Obrecht home. Nina says she's learned the haunted star is untraceable. Valentin appears and has an update for them. He tells them about Trina getting in contact with her mother from the boat, which she stowed away on. Nina thanks him for the update, and Sunny notes this is a good bit of news. Sunny excuses himself to make some phone calls. Nina embraces Valentin and is glad he's okay. Valentin asks if Sunny is treating her well, and she says he is. Valentin is sorry he didn't reach out to her earlier about Willow, but also doesn't know if it's his place to do so anymore. She thinks it's more his place than anyone, as nobody knows how much she's wanted a child if not him. Nina admits to Valentin that she and Willow were in a bad place when they found out the truth, but things are slowly getting better. However, there is a deep and wide gulf for them to navigate, and they may not have much time left to do so. Valentin urges her not to give up hope. Brooklyn arrives to pick up Leo from a technology class and runs into Sunny. They sit down as she has time to kill, and he asks what is going on with Chase. She says he got his badge back, but he notes that is good news, yet he can see something is bothering her. She admits she may have called in a little favor. Brooklyn gets a text that it's time to get Leo. She talks about how much she has to do for Michael and Willow's wedding and quickly realizes Sunny doesn't know they moved it up until tomorrow. She is sorry to tell them like this and heads off. Sunny looks over and sees Valentin talking to Nina. Sunny approaches Nina and Valentin decides to get back to Anna. Sunny tells Nina he just got some news concerning Willow. In Alex's office, Gregory collapses to the floor and she says she'll call 911. He gets up and tells her no ambulances. She helps him into a chair and he explains this will pass. She gives him some water and insists he goes to the hospital to be examined. Gregory says they won't tell him anything he doesn't know, and what comes next makes this look like child's play. He says he knew this was coming, and that's why he had to quit teaching. He couldn't stand the thought of an episode causing him to become publicly incapacitated in front of his students, much less his sons. Alexis doesn't know his diagnosis but notes that if Gregory isn't in treatment, then he may eventually have an episode in front of his sons. Gregory says there is nothing that can be done and reveals he has ALS. Stunned, Alexis says she is so sorry. He explains how the disease works, that there is no way to reverse the degeneration it causes to his brain and nervous system, and his doctor simply talks about managing his symptoms through supportive care. Gregory stands up and tells Alexis eventually he'll lose control of his movement, and then he'll be entirely in the care of his sons. That is why he hasn't told them, as he wants them to live their lives as long as possible before having to deal with him. He assures her that he knows when the time comes he'll need help, and he'll ask for it then. Alexis wishes there was something she could do, but he tells her that she has already helped him. In Venezuela, Holly and Felicia cannot believe Ethan, played by James Ryan, is being auctioned off to be killed. Holly notes her son has been busy making a lot of enemies these past few years. The first bid for $1 million comes in, and a mysterious woman in a large white hat and gown is shown using a computer to place a bid. Holly counterbids with $2 million. As more bids continue to come in, Ethan works to try and get out of his bonds. Holly finally bids $10 million and wins the auction. Felicia asks Holly, "Now what?" Holly tells Felicia to follow her lead. Holly tells the man running the auction that her account manager will be in touch with the money. He says that isn't necessary. All she must do is enter the account details into his tablet. Holly laughs that she doesn't walk around with her account numbers, so he says she's lost to the next highest bidder, who just transferred the funds. The man says they will be escorted off the property as the winner is here to collect her property. The woman in the white hat enters, and when Holly grabs her to keep her from Ethan, her hat falls off and it's Tracy. Felicia asks what she's doing here, and Tracy says exactly what they are doing, only doing it better. The man is furious and assumes the women are working together and orders them all to be seized. Suddenly, Ethan frees himself. Ethan, Holly, and Felicia knock the men out as Tracy watches the excitement unfold. Ethan thanks the ladies for the assist, and they all run for it.